Welcome, everybody. All right, this is your Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock class. We are in book number 200, and the song today is Somewhere from West Side Story. Just remember that I keep you all on an open microphone. You're allowed to mute and unmute yourselves. All I ask is that you keep yourself muted when I'm talking or when I'm giving fingering or when I'm playing so that we don't have a couple of different microphones and that causes some distractions and some problems. But then when I say questions, anybody, please feel free. Please feel free. It's wonderful to see all of you today. I wish we could be in the store, but this is the way it is. So sorry about that. The song today is excellent. It's called Somewhere. And I actually have original sheet music. Okay. And it was $1.25. Wow. $1.25. And this is by Stephen Sondheim and Leonard Bernstein. And that's how I learned how to play it on piano. So that was many years ago. Okay, so what do we know about this? It's from the 1957 Broadway musical West Side Story. It was made into a film in 1961. Music by Leonard Bernstein, lyrics by Stephen Sondheim. The song was composed by taking pieces and phrases from classical music, including Beethoven's Emperor Concerto and Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. So sometimes you just look at other music and get a few ideas and form a new song. This was number 20 on the AFI 100 Years, 100 Songs, so I'm not surprised that it's in book 134 as well. And in 1965, the Supremes, Diana Ross and the Supremes, recorded the song, though it was not released until 2004. Wow, that's a long time to be just sitting in the drawer someplace. In the aftermath of the shooting of Martin Luther King, the Supremes did a monologue ahead of the song. And Diana Ross, I guess, was so overcome with emotion that she had a very hard time getting through it. And it's actually something that I wish people who wanted to protest nowadays would write songs or sing songs or have sit-ins instead of all the violence we're having. And the monologue, I'm going to read it because it's just very nice. Yes, there's a place for each of us, and we must try to pursue this place where love is like a passion that burns like a fire. Let our efforts be as determined as that of Dr. Martin Luther King, who had a dream that all God's children, black men, white men, Jews, Gentiles, Protestants, Catholics, will join hands and sing that spiritual of all, free at last, great God, we are free at last. Now that's the way to protest, honest and truly. Other recordings were by Barbra Streisand in 1985. Phil Collins did it in 1996. And here's the one that really gets me, the Pet Shop Boys in 1997. That's kind of a little bit out there. I love this just on the classical strings 101. That's my go-to background for songs like this. At 64 beats per minute, I like the big strings on it. If you like big strings, but you're sick of going to strings 101, you may also go to Hawaiian Paradise. That also gives you big strings. And the two presets I used on both of those was 0, which was your strings, and 7, which gave you big vocals. It's also very beautiful with big vocals. Theater Romance, for those of you that have it, it's fabulous. And you may wish to try the altar style. Try it with the altar style. If you have smaller instruments, the Freedom 3 mellow, easy 8-beat is perfect for this. Also, Ballad, Wonderful World works very well. Those of you on the easies, 1s, 2s, 4s, 10s, the smooth full band, and I like number 4, the preset number 4. I believe that's all strings, but if you don't have presets, your rhythm preset comes up to piano strings, and it's absolutely fabulous. Now, what are we going to learn about today? A few new chords? Yeah, one or two. But that's not the whole thing for this song. This song, we are going to talk about dynamics. What are dynamics? Dynamics are the louds and the softs. If you've ever seen piano music and you see things like V's that go this way or V's that go this way, those are crescendos and decrescendos, loud to soft or soft to loud. And everything is always in Italian because that's how the music world is and was. So I am going to let you know where the crescendos and decrescendos are. And if you ever look at piano music and you see things like little p, a little p is piano. That means you play softly. If you have two p's, it's pianissimo, and that means really soft. And if you have three p's in a row, it's pianissimo, which is. And then if you have the F's or the MFs, and it's I don't want to hear any comments. MF is mezzo forte, medium loud. F is forte, which means loud. Double F is fortissimo, which means louder. And then you have FFF, which is fortissimo, which means just blast it as loud as you can and hold your ears. So we're going to do some softs and some crescendos and some louds, and we're not going to do it with the dynamic keying. Dynamic keying is something completely different. For those of you that have dynamic keying, what it does is it allows you to play like a piano sound, and the softer you touch the key, the lighter you touch the key, the softer it is, and the harder you touch the key, the louder it is. That's not the type of dynamics we're talking about today. We're talking about dynamics where we're going to be using the foot pedal. I'm pointing to the foot pedal. You can't see it. The foot pedal, your gas pedal. Some people like to call it a volume pedal. It's actually called an expression pedal. And today is one of those days when we're going to make really good use of our expression pedal. And I like to just lean into it. If I lean my body into it, my foot automatically goes down on the expression pedal. And when I want to soften it up, I kind of lean my body back and my foot brings back and it becomes a little bit lighter. So that's how I like to do it. Of course, a lot of you like to do your dancing on the bench. That's a wonderful thing. I do too. So if you see me leaning in and you can listen to me going louder, that's what's happening. I am going to start this on strings 101 at 64. And then we'll talk about road maps and fingering and chords and all that good stuff. So here we go. going to play it through the first time. I will play it in its entirety at some point during the day, and I'm going to switch over to the vocals. But I just used your strings on top and the violin on the bottom. Beautiful song, absolutely gorgeous song. Okay, could you hear, I know over Zoom it's probably not the best sound quality, but could you hear the louds and the softs? You could, okay. Okay, Joanne, I'm watching your head go up and down, thank you. So yes, and if you read the lyrics, this was a very emotional song about Tony and Maria, and they came from two different cultures, and they were feuding, and they were in love, and it's kind of it's a modern Romeo and Juliet story is what it is. And so they were looking for, they're trying to find a place where they can be together, and what ends up is that he ends up dying in her arms. Oh, the drama. Oh. Oh. Any questions so far? No questions so far? Okay. Let's talk about the roadmap. Roadmap is pretty straightforward. You play through page 1, page 2. The first 3 lines of page 3, you have in the third line a first ending and a 1. That's your first ending. There's 2 dots at the end with a thin line and a thick line. Those are your repeat dots. Now you're supposed to look for the repeat dots that face the opposite way. Guess what? There aren't any in this song. What does that mean? That means you automatically go all the way back to the beginning and play it again. And that would be the perfect spot to change a preset. And that's when I would personally go to the vocals, which is normally preset number 7. No matter what rhythm you're on, preset number 7 is going to give you some kind of vocals. Now, if you don't get the right vocal that you're looking for, please feel free to go into your More button and find your lush. Your lush vocals are fabulous. Or general preset 7 is also just a beautiful, beautiful vocals. General preset 7 is 7 without anything, no A, B, C, D, or E, no normal, no vintage, no category presets, just 7 by itself is a beautiful choir sound. Okay, the second time you play it, you just play it through, but instead of the first ending, you skip to the second ending. And if you take a look at them, guess what? They're pretty much the same. They're pretty much the same. So you just play the song twice. All right, let's do some chords. Check your microphones, make sure you are muted. The C is good for 2 counts. Now, I want you to cross off the C7. If you have a C7 on top of the C, cross it out. We're just going to play C for 2 counts. Over the B flat, which is beat 3, now put in your C7, which is C and B flat. The F for F7 is good, the B flat is good. Next measure, cross out the C and the C7 and replace it with G minor or G minor 7, gorilla minor 7, F, G, and B flat. But remember, 7s are optional. You must play the G and B flat. That's good for 2 counts. Over the C, beat 3. Now put your C or C7 back in. Line 2, first measure is fine. The F and the B flat. The C over piece. Play the C, but cross out the C7. We're only going to play the C for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the G for quiet. Now put your C7 in. C and B flat. The A minor is good, C and A. The D minor is good, D and F. The next line, B flat with your thumb, E flat with your 3rd finger. The C is good for 1 measure and a half because the next measure over the word theirs If you have a C7 on top of the box, cross it out. We're just going to play C for the first two counts. Over the B flat, you are going to now put your C7 back in. You're probably noticing a pattern. The next measure, F or F7. F7 is E flat and F. B flat is fine with your thumb. Fourth line, first measure, cross out the C and the C7 and replace it with G minor or G minor 7. G and B flat, and if you wish to play the 7, it is F, G, and B flat. For two counts. Beat 3 over the C for day. Put your C7 back in. The F or F7 is good. The B flat is good. The last measure on the page, play the C. If you have a C7 on top of that box, cross it out. Just play C. For two beats. Over the G for gather. Now put your C7 back in. Let's go to the second page. A minor, C and A, D minor, D and F, B flat, just your thumb, E flat, just your third finger, C minor, C and E flat, A flat, your thumb, D flat can be fourth finger or pinky, whichever one gets there first. And the next line is B flat minor, which is D flat and B flat. You notice I have not changed any chords. The ones we have there are hard enough. F minor is F and A flat, pointer and thumb. G minor is G and B flat, and you may put a 7 on that, which would make it F, G, and B flat. Next line, no changes. D flat. B flat minor is D flat and B flat. A flat with your thumb, and G. Last line on that page, E minor is E and G. You may put a 7 on that chord, which would make it D, E, and G. The C in the next measure, if you have a C7 on top of the box, cross it out. Just play C for two counts. And over the B flat, beat 3, now play C7. The F7 is fine, E flat and F. The B flat is fine with your thumb. Cross out the C and C7 in the last measure and replace it with G minor or G minor 7, which is F, G, and B flat. For two counts. Then over the C for the word time, now put your C7 back in. Third page. Top line, F and B flat are good. Second measure, you have a C. If you have a C7 above it, cross out the C7. Just play C. We've done this about 8 times already. And that's good for two counts. And over the word hand, beat 3, put your C7 back in. No more changes until the third line, first ending. You have an F7 over that F, cross out the F7, just play F for two counts, and beat 3, throw that F7 back in if you wish, but that's just not even that important. Because if you notice in the second ending, it's F going to B flat, and that's absolutely fine just the way it is. So what key is this song actually in? B flat. B flat. And you wouldn't think that because it doesn't sound like it should end on that chord, but this entire song is written in the key of B flat. We don't usually see that in easy play, but that's why we have all the flat chords in the middle of the song. Okay, let's talk about fingering. For those of you who don't care about fingering, go
Dawn,
make yourself a cup of coffee. I'm sorry, questions?
could you please repeat the second line of the first page?
Yes. Second line on the first page, F7 is good, E flat and F, B flat with your thumb. The C is good for 2 counts, but only play C. If there's a C7 above the box, cross it out. And in beat 3 of that measure, over quiet, put your C7 back in. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dawn,
yes.
You said the key is B flat. Do we do the intro in B flat? Because I thought it sounded funny.
Yeah, you can try it in B flat, actually, because it's going to be starting so softly. You can actually not even play an intro. You could actually just start the music and have it almost at 0, and then just kind of bring your foot forward a little bit, because you're going to start out very softly. So you could almost just fade in with no intro. I think I did use the intro, but you could just play a C chord. And then start. And yeah, it does sound better if you start with a C chord, but that's not the key of the song. Interesting, huh? Yeah, always, always, always let your ear be the final judge of what sounds the best. I don't particularly like how it sounds with that B flat hanging at the end, but that is the key of the song. And I know that only because of going back to the piano music. I'm like, seriously, is that how it's written? Yep, that's how it's written. So it's not something that just got put into easy play. That is how the song is actually written. All right, now let's do some fingering. Go make some coffee if you're not into fingering, and I'm okay with that. Or, it's a little early for a cocktail. Whatever you like. All right, back to the beginning. C is 1. B flat, 5. A4. F2. D1. High D5. C4. B flat, 3. A2. F1. D2 with a circle. You are crossing it over. E3. F1. Put a circle around it. You're tucking it under. G2. A3. B flat, 4. C5. A3. F1. Third line, D5. B flat, 3. G1. F3 with a circle, you're crossing it over. E2, C1. B flat, 5. A4, F2, D1. Last line on page 1, D5, C4, B flat, 3, A2, F1, D2 with a circle, you're crossing it over. E3, F1 with a circle. G2, A3, B flat, 4. Second page, top. C5, A3, F1. D5, B flat, 3, G1. E flat, 5, C3, A flat, 1. Oh my, I just broke a rule, didn't I? Normally I tell you don't put a thumb on a black key with the right hand unless you absolutely need to. Right here you absolutely need to. E flat, 3, F4. Second line, E flat, 3, F4. G5, F4, E flat, 3, D2. E flat 3, F4, F4, B flat 1, there's another one. Third line, E flat 5, D flat 4, E3, B flat 2, C3, D flat 4, E flat 5, A flat 1, D5, G1. At the end of that held G, which would be after the first measure in the last line, put a check mark, and we're going to reposition our hand. C1, B flat 5, A4, F2, D1, D5, C4, B flat 3, third page, A2, F1, D2 with a circle because you're crossing it over, E3, F1 with a circle, you're tucking it under, G2, A3, B flat 4, C5, A3, F1. Second line, D5, B flat 3, G1, A flat 2, B flat 3, high E flat 5, C3, A flat 1, high E flat 3, F4, E flat 3, F4, first ending E flat 3, F4, and the last ending same thing, E flat 3, F4. All right, questions? Got it. Okay, good, very good. All right, before I go into the dynamics, I do want to talk about quarter note triplets. Those are not the quick triplets that we had yesterday. Quarter note triplets, and we don't have any written in the song. That's why if you're looking for them, they're not there. Quarter note triplets are 3 quarter notes with a 3 over the top of them. Let's see if I can find a good one here. Okay, time to, what does that say? Oh, time together. Time together with. Together with. You see how those are 3 quarter notes connected with a bracket and a 3? That is 3 notes in the space of 2 beats, and you can't really count those. Now, what they've done for you is they have written them as a quarter note and 2 eighth notes in easy play. Time together with time to spare. It's at the bottom of the page. Time together with time. They've written it as a quarter note and 2 eighth notes because that equals 2 counts as well. But if you want to play it more like the original, smooth those out and play them the way you would sing them. Peace and quiet and open air. Time together with time to share. And also on the second page, second line, we'll find a new way of living. The way it's written is, we'll find a new way of living. The way it's written in the piano music is that they're all even. We'll find a new way of living. Okay, so what does that mean for you, the player? Play it the way you feel it. Play it the way you sing it. That's the best advice I can give you from now until eternity. This is easy play music. They write it so that it's in the easiest way for us to understand it. And then it's up to us, the artist, to interpret it the way we feel it. Now, as far as dynamics, we're going to start. I put a little P, or you can just write in the word soft at the beginning of the song. You're going to start the song soft. And pretty much that whole first page, you're going to play fairly soft. Now you can do ups and downs with your expression pedal, again, the way you would feel it when you're going up, peace and quiet and open air. When you go up the line, you usually want to get a little more volume, not a lot, just a little bit more. But how would you sing it? If you were singing it, would you get louder in one spot? That's when you lean on your expression pedal, and it doesn't have to be much. I don't want you going soft loud. That's not the way to do it. But you want to just make it real subtle. When you get to the top of the second page, top line, last measure, where it goes someday, you can put MF, or you can write medium loud. Medium loud. MF is mezzo forte. When you get to line 2, over the first measure, you can put one of those little V's that goes from very soft to loud, and you can put an F, which means forte, and it means crescendo to loud, for we'll find a new way of living. And that is also the highest note in the phrase. And usually the highest note in the phrase will be the one that you really want to get loud on. At the end of the second line, you want to do your little arrow, and I'll show you what that looks like. That goes from louder to softer. And then in line 3, you want to put a P at the very beginning of the line, which means soft. So you want to go from loud to soft. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, if any of you have had piano before, you're used to seeing these cymbals. They do not ever put them into your easy play music. They give you the creativity and the freedom to put them in where you wish. But since we are creatures of vision, sometimes it helps to put symbols like that in so that we know where we're supposed to get louder and where we want to get softer.
Dawn,
Yes.
excuse me, I missed what we did on the first line on that page.
The first line of the page, on the last measure over the word someday, you want to put MF or medium loud. MF means mezzo forte, medium
Thank you.
loud. And I'm just going by what my good old piano sheet music told me to do. I didn't make this stuff up. Okay, let's go to the last line on page 2. When you go to "There's a place for us" the second time, then you want to be pee-pee or very soft. And that was the place where I went to the lower keyboard and went from big strings to a solo violin. Sometimes just decreasing the number of instruments will also give you the appearance of softening as far as the dynamics. Very soft. And on the third page, we're going uphill with the lyrics again. Hold my hand and I'll take, we're halfway there. You're going uphill. Hold my hand and I'll take you there. And then in line 2, you want to do another crescendo with a little F, which means crescendo to loud. And you can actually start that crescendo at the beginning of that line. And you can fill in these types of things anywhere in songs that you're playing. Because again, we are creatures of vision. And if we think that that's a good place for us to get louder, then put in one of those crescendos. The point is the soft, and then the opening is where it goes loud. If it goes the other way, it's get loud and soften to nothing, or to soft. Okay, I'm going to play it now, and I'm going to try it in the Hawaiian Paradise. I'm going to slow it down to 64 so you can hear a different background. And I'm going to start with big strings. And when I get to the change of presets, I'm going to come to the lower keyboard, which is an English horn. That's a beautiful solo sound. And then when I play it the second time, there's a lush choir on the top and a viola on the bottom. So two different verses, two different presets, but I'm making use of my sounds up and down. Okay, here we go. And I think this time I'm just going to start with a C chord and kind of fade it in. fade it out. I did not write in a decrescendo at the end, but you can also do that because you do want to, you could stay loud the entire time if you wish, but I chose to come back very softly at the end. And either way would be okay. And it just depends on how do you want to arrange the song. Okay, did you like what we did today on dynamics? Something different, huh? Any questions?
Dawn,
Yes.
on the last decrescendo,
Mhm.
you came in on the E flat and the F on the last line on page 3. And that's where, did you start to quiet it down there, right there? Or did you at the
last two someday somewhere, like the second to the last line and the last line, depending on which verse you were on. But that was just me. You could have left it really loud, and you could have ended it on a really high, loud note and just left it there.
Because you went up and made it louder on the well, it was the E flat and the F.
Yes,
Yeah.
E flat, C minor, A flat. I'm making it louder, 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 louder. And then when I got to that D flat, now if you also remember, I was on the bottom keyboard. When I got to that D flat, I threw in the FX and went to the top keyboard, which had more instrumentation. I had the full choir instead of just a solo viola.
So you went back up there on the E flat and the F at the end there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
on
right.
the E flat and the F, you could go back up, or I came back down, but that was just me.
Oh, okay.
I just like to be a little softer at the end, but that's totally your own choice.
Up, then you came back down.
I came back down, yes.
Okay.
In volume.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that, okay.
So now, not only are we using our left hand for chords and our right hand for fingering, now we also have to use our feet for volume control. Watch that, because a lot of people like to use their foot for keeping the time. You don't want to keep the time with your expression pedal, because that'll sound like you are doing this. So you have to really, I use my whole body.
Yeah.
If my body's leaning forward, I'm getting louder. My foot's also going down on the pedal. If I pull back a little bit, my foot's also coming back on the pedal. So I try to involve my whole body with the dynamics of the song. I hope you also noticed that I took some breaths with my hand. Page 1, there's a place for us, somewhere a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, wait for us, somewhere.
Okay.
I kind of picked up my hand and just put a little breath in between there. Now, if you want to mark that, it's like putting an apostrophe mark in between the two notes.
Okay.
You put like a little apostrophe in between the two notes, and that's your visual for taking a breath. Or a little check mark. A little check mark would work too.
Where else did you take a breath?
So a couple other places.
Okay.
Time for us to go, time to spare, time to learn, time to care. Someday, somewhere, we'll find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving. Somewhere. Pretty much on a word you want to emphasize. And if I was singing it, there's a place for us, a time and place for us. I'd have to take a breath there, hold my hand, and we're halfway there. Take another little breath, hold my hand, and I'll take you there. And then another little breath somewhere. So if you're singing it, where would you need to grab that breath? And all you need to do is just lift your finger. It's not a complete check mark because we're not moving our hand to replace our position. We're just taking a little breath by lifting our hand and then continuing. So again, you play it the way you sing it, and it's going to be right.
When you went down, Donna, and the viola, what's the viola under?
It's actually, I was at Hawaiian Paradise, rhythm preset 7 on the lower keyboard.
Okay.
Yep, it's already there for you. Use your presets as much as possible. They're there for a reason. They're there to make life easy. So that we don't have to create our own tune.
Stop, stop, stop. I'm sorry.
Somebody else?
I couldn't find a viola. All right, viola.
It says viol.
Viola, okay.
Yep. Okay, next week we can do Tears in Heaven, or if you'd rather skip that. What does book 8 have next? What does the 8th edition have next?
Stardust. Stardust.
Stardust. Okay, because Spanish Eyes is also in here, which is very easy.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do Stardust next?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Now we're skipping a couple of good ones, but we've done these in other books. Okay, we'll do
How about
Stardust.
You got stormy weather in there too.
Not in my book, or is it
Yep.
after? Oh, it's after. That's coming up yet.
Okay.
Yep.
That'll be great.
Spanish Eyes, there's really not much to teach. That's more of an intermediate song. So we'll go to Stardust, which I also have original sheet music for, but I got that from my mommy.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You guys are the bestest. This was an excellent class today. I
You're
hope
the
you learned one thing. If you learn one thing every time you come to class, then you are 100% successful. If you have any questions, don't forget to email me. For those of you who need our email again, it is 5028@fletchermusic.com. And I will answer any and all emails. Thank you. I love you guys. You're the bestest.
Bye, Tam.
Thanks, Dawn. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dawn.
Bye,
Take
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Tam.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
Love you guys.